What's up, and welcome to GamerVice, our first podcast, first episode of the podcast. Just three friends that love video games and love talking about video games, and we want to put some content out there because we just want to. It's something we enjoy doing, and we want to start doing things that we're passionate about. My name is Logan. Go ahead and introduce yourselves, fellas.
The name here, man. What's up? It's Crunky. You can also call me Hank.
And this is
feel like you
Kevin
did that
here.
backwards.
Yeah, you should
Or
say Hank.
name's
That's
Hank.
okay.
You can call me Crunky. Yeah, it's all good. All the same to you guys, man.
Exactly. And I'm Kevin. You
Welcome.
can call me Katie Vicious or just Kevin.
All
Welcome,
right.
welcome. This is a start of a new chapter here for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, listen, we're a couple of guys, couple of friends who are really family when you think about it. But we'll talk
Yeah.
about that, I'm sure, at some other time. But just three guys that have been playing games forever, love video games. We always talk about video games. We have literal group chats where we just discuss different things about video games, and rather than just containing it to WhatsApp or I can't say iMessage because Kevin is an Android user. Womp womp. But we just rather than keeping it there, we figured we would start creating some content and putting stuff out there and seeing if you guys want to be a part of the conversation. Where do you guys want to start? Where do you want to kick things off with?
More conversation. Well, we're going to talk about, this past week in gaming and the future of gaming. So we have the news about CSGO 2, Fortnite 2.0, the Diablo IV beta, and the whole genre around remakes. Remakes really seem to be a thing of this new next gen and kind of taking over. So let's start with CS:GO 2. Our thoughts about that. Personally, speaking about CS:GO 2, uh, it looks like a nice reskin of the game from what I've seen. For someone who likes those kind of games, I'm a big Valorant player. Something that held me back from CS:GO to a lot, or CS:GO, I should say, was it just felt old, and the graphics and things like that. For me personally, and I'm sure other people feel like that out there, it was just hard. I like color. The first game or the original is like dark. I think now there's some more clarity from the little videos I've seen of CS:GO 2, updated graphics, smoother edges. I'm excited to give it a try because as opposed to Valorant, it's more straight army style shooting where, Valorant throws in abilities and things like that. So as much as they're very similar, they're still very different because Valorant, it's about abilities play a big role in the game, whereas CS:GO straight strategic. You got only smokes and flashes and stuns maybe, and then that's it. It's just gunshots.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, I wanna ask you a question about CS:GO. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
do you, or I guess we should say Counter Strike 2, but I think it's kind of funny. Like when you see this game, do you view it as like Counter Strike 2? Like I think it's weird that
No.
they're like calling it a
Yeah.
sequel, but it's really like not a sequel. It's more so just you're just putting it in a new engine. Like, do you feel like it's an honest sequel, or do you feel like calling it Counter Strike 2 is more of a way to get some excitement rather than just being like, here's update 1.0, blah blah, blah, or you know what I mean?
I do. And that's exactly how I feel about it. This it's funny because it's perfect how we're talking about Fortnite 2.0 a little bit. It's literally just like CS:GO 2.0. That's how it feels like. It's just like a reskin. It's basically the same game. I mean, obviously, they've done an overhaul probably on the mechanics. I know that they did a lot of stuff with like the smoke grenades and you see the clips of that stuff. But it's basically just a nice update. It's the same thing with like Overwatch 2, right? Overwatch 2 is
Yeah.
basically just an updated Overwatch. And
Yeah.
Right.
that's how I feel. Every time I see it, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. Everybody loves updated graphics. Don't get me wrong. Except if you have a shitty computer. Sorry. But everybody loves updated graphics. So it's cool and all, and it brings it to like it feels more modern. But at the end of the day, you it's hard, especially for somebody like myself who doesn't really play competitive shooters like that. It's hard for you to try to sell me on it when basically it's just updated graphics, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I kind of feel like, and Hank, I would love to hear like your opinion on this. I feel like it's almost like a case study in when there's a beloved franchise and there's like a lot of goodwill, what people will accept and not accept. Like, I feel like if Warzone, Warzone 2 came out and it was literally the same as Warzone 1, just in a new engine with some upgraded graphics, I feel like people would have been furious. Like, people would have, like, this isn't Warzone 2, this isn't a sequel, da da da. But like CS:GO is such like an icon in especially the first
Yeah,
person shooter genre where it's like anything new, it's kind of just like it's more open with welcome arms, and it's kind of like them
yeah,
getting away with just I don't want to say getting away with it like I don't think it's dope because I think it's awesome. I'm gonna play
yeah.
Counter Strike 2, like I'm excited for it, but like I feel like they're getting away with something that many other franchises would not have been able to get away with.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely like a track record thing, like you say. Now that I'm thinking about it, like we expect a new Call of Duty every year. CS:GO's been around how long? It's not like they ever sold us multiple games. It's also a top. I don't know. I'm just making this up in my head, but it's a top three esport, game. Uh, so they just need to, I mean, exactly, they're just trying to keep up with it. There's nothing to change about it. It has a lot of money, all right, involved with the game already when it comes to esports and things like that. I don't So for them, they really don't need to do much. What I would like to see, I know I read some things like, yeah, they might have a new map here or there, but it's like it is kind of crazy that it's truly, like we keep saying, it's like a full reskin and it's the same game in the same engine, but
Right.
like to the point where it's like, yo, I don't want to hear about like one new map. I want to hear about multiple new maps. But you know what? I'm gonna do some little digging right now while we're here talking. I think there might have been some data mining though. They say new weapons and all this stuff. So let me take a look at that while you guys chat it up. But yeah, definitely interesting. That I have to agree. I don't think a Call of Duty could get by with this.
Yeah,
Uh,
like or even oh sorry, Kim, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say also one of the biggest things about CS:GO that people love and part of the reason why they've played it so much is because they used to have, or I don't know if they might still have it, like loot boxes where you can have like these skins and you literally could get a rare skin that could actually be of some worth, like monetary value. You could literally sell the skin for like, I don't know, 20, 50, $100. I've heard of that. So I'm also curious to see if it's a new game where are those going to be transferred over? Are people going to be pissed that they spent all that money on CS:GO? Because there are people who have spent hundreds and even thousands of dollars trying to get their favorite skin, and then CS:GO 2 or CS2, however, I don't even know. Is first of all, is it
I
Counter
think
Strike
it's just
2 or
I think it's just Counter Strike 2, yeah.
okay? So is
Yeah,
Counter
they
Strike
should
2
call
going
it
to be like
2.0.
a new? I guess it is. It's a new game, so therefore none of that stuff transfers. That's I
No,
don't know.
so I based off of what I've seen, just watching streamers play, I think all the skins did transfer over, and it's cool. Like they're also just being put in a new engine. The skins look better as well. Like I
Mm.
know I watched Team Man play, and all his skins had transferred over, and he was commenting on how some of the weapons look like more dope in the new engine. So I don't think that that's going to be an issue. What I do wonder, like as far as how this has been received so far, and assuming it continues to be received well when they have their full launch, I think, which is happening sometime in June, is are we going to see this along with Fortnite 2.0, which maybe this is the perfect segue, or maybe we'll get to
Yeah.
that a little bit later. Like, is this going to potentially change what it means to have a sequel in games? Like, I don't see every game being able to do something like this, but I think Call of Duty is an example of where the biggest difference I feel like from Call of Duty to Call of Duty is the engine, right? Like until they're working on a new engine, it's very much the same. And the Modern Warfare engine, which ironically enough, I feel like people didn't like when the first Modern Warfare remake came out, and they went back to the old engine, and then Modern Warfare 2 went back to that engine. Like, do you guys think that this is kind of going to be a change where, like maybe not just first person shooters, but online games in general view a sequel as not so much a full new game but just maybe introducing a new engine or reskinning the game, something along those lines.
I'm
I think,
I'm
yeah,
surprised. I'm surprised that because this is kind of falling into a game as a service type of thing where it's the same game and they're just updating it for long periods of time. Any other genre is this has gotten old. Like if you
yeah,
think about it, like look at Avengers for instance. That was supposed to be a game that was going to be amazing because it was superheroes, and who doesn't want to play as a superhero? But
Hmm.
they put it as a game as a service, and now it fell short. They keep having to do updates and tweaks and whatnot, and the community just didn't get behind it. It's the same thing with games like Division 2. They have it as a games of service, but it's starting to feel old. Destiny 2, they have it as a
yeah.
games of service, but it's starting to feel old. It's
You
starting to
know what
feel
might be
like
another example of
All
that? So I don't want to
only with
interrupt, but before I
yeah,
forget, Overwatch 2. I feel like Overwatch 2 is an example of where it was like not really a new game,
right.
not really a
yeah.
new engine either,
True.
but it was like they were kind of
It
I feel
wasn't.
like that they push out this like, oh, it's a sequel and it's really not, and that kind of got crushed for it. And then CS2 was like, it's a sequel, but it's really not, and that got a ton of love.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just weird. It's
Again,
just
I
weird to
think it's
me.
the track record that they
Yeah,
set up for themselves, and CS:GO's been CS:GO for 20, and no one was expecting any change. They're kind of need to reskin it just to stay up with the times. Like I don't, I think of only a very select few games will be able to live up to that or do or replicate this. Um, but yeah,
but
let's
I do
talk about
think
yeah.
yeah, I do think if there's one game that can do this for longevity, for a
Yeah.
long period of time, Fortnite.
I was just gonna say it's Fortnite.
It's true. I feel like how long has Fortnite been out already? It's got to be like
Now
what
we're
4 or 5
talking
years.
5 or 6.
I believe it's far longer than
Was
that.
it
I remember, like
was it
once they introduced the
2016?
battle royale. I want to say they probably introduced the battle royale around 16, 17, but the game was had came out even before that when it had like
Yeah.
the, just the save the world horde mode. But I want to say the BR portion came out maybe 2016, 2017,
It
around
was
there.
20 September 26th, 2017.
2017,
2017.
okay.
So we're coming up on 6 years of the BR. So that's what I'm saying. 6 years, basically rounding up 6 years of this one BR, and now they've shifted to this 2.0 and this Unreal Engine 5, 5.2, however you want to put it, where it's like nice updated graphics. It still pretty much looks the same kind of art style, but it's updated
Yeah,
graphics, and now they're giving you this opportunity to be creative and do what you want. And actually, between the two, I actually appreciate that a little bit more because I feel like if you're gonna try to sell us on basically the same game but with some updated graphics, at least have the community be able to make
yeah.
whatever they want to make, and that gives you like the that longevity. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think what
Yeah.
Fortnite is doing is like I really think that they're changing the game. Like I'm not the biggest fan of Fortnite. I used to love Fortnite. You know, when it first came out,
Yeah.
we were playing it nonstop. And then I kind of fell off of it, but I think what they're doing with this creator mode, and I know like Roblox kind of had that too, where you can like create games within the game. But
Yeah,
I
but
think
just
giving that
as
freedom, yeah, like giving that freedom to allow people to create their own thing, and some of the things look incredible. Like I was watching Dr. Disrespect stream, and he was playing like Call of Duty Rust map
yeah, yeah,
in Fortnite, and it looked like great. And it's like, there's some super talented people out there who are going to create super dope things in Fortnite, and it's just like I don't even need to go buy 10 different games when I have 10 games packaged up into this game that's free to play. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
mm-hmm.
And it's crazy that it's free to play.
Yeah. I mean, because at the end of the day, they still you don't need any of those cosmetics, but they suck you in, man. So some people you play once for the battle pass for that, say, but there's also enough people that love it enough already that pay
You
for
kind of
everyone
sound
else to
like
play.
you speaking from experience there, Hank.
Yeah, I can say I look at this.
Blink.
I watched Mando when they came out with their Mando season. It's probably been like 8 months now, or maybe a year. That was like me a year and a half without playing damn Fortnite. And for whatever reason, I'm like, ooh, I gotta have the skin. So I buy the battle pass. I played for 3 hours. Like, what are we talking about?
And
But that's how
like
they
to
get
that
you.
point, because you brought up Mando, I mean that is Fortnite's got to be the greatest
Oh,
crossover universe created in
it's
media of all time. Like they forget the MCU. They've taken the notion of the MCU and have blown it up times I don't even know 100. I mean, you can literally be in a lobby with LeBron James, Goku, the Mandalorian, Master Chief, Kratos, and
Yeah.
Batman and Spider Man all trying to
and
mow each other down with assault rifles.
With guns, yeah, I was gonna say.
yeah,
And not
You
like
only
that
not
know,
shit is
only
wild.
crazy.
not only that, but they're also like entertainment crossover. Like they do, don't they do
Oh,
like music festivals in Fortnite
oh
and
my
stuff?
god,
Yeah,
yeah, they
Yeah,
you know what I
had Dead
mean. So it's
Mouse.
just crazy.
They
Yeah,
had
that's
the
what I'm saying.
anime crossovers. These guys, the Rick
Ariana
and Morty,
Grande.
Rick and Morty, Rick. These
Think
guys.
of how successful and how much money Fortnite must be making for DC to say, yes, we're going to let you use Batman in a game that has guns when Batman's number one thing is how he doesn't use guns. And like, or like Spider Man, like, yeah, like Spider Man is one of the biggest IPs in the world. Kids love him. He's a role model. Sure, you can put him in a game where he's shooting guns.
Yeah,
Or
with a
like,
grenade
like
launcher.
that's
Yeah,
crazy to even think about that everybody's just like, I wonder if they're at a point where they're not even going to brands and companies and they're coming to them. Like, can we
yeah,
be in
that's
Fortnite?
crazy.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
I mean, some
There's
people
been a
definitely
few.
reach out
Yeah.
for sure. I don't. Yeah, it's actually insane.
Like, we're at a point where any major movie that comes out, any major movie, television show, even video game at this point, any major like icon that comes out, you can almost expect them to be in Fortnite. It's not even like you wonder if they're. You can almost expect that they'll be in Fortnite. Like Creed 3 just came out, and I
I was
think
gonna say
Creed is in the game.
Wasn't Michael B. Jordan in the game?
It's crazy. Like,
That's
it's
nuts.
wild.
Speaking of
Pretty
crossovers,
soon
I
they'll have
saw.
Joe Goldberg from you in
Yeah, that would make sense now.
it.
He's trying to take everybody out.
What was I gonna say? Oh, there's this is getting off on a tangent, but we're talking about like crossovers. I saw an article that said how cool it would be if they made a John Wick game like Sifu,
Oh my god, that'd be awesome.
right?
Ooh.
That would
Sifu is one
be.
of my favorite games in the past
I
couple
know.
of years.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you know
know.
where
We
you can
just talked
find
about it.
it? Nexus Mods. They probably will do that too because they've
Maybe
put who they put they've done us. Dude, the
they.
stuff that some people are capable of doing is insane.
Or Kevin, you might not even have, that might not even be like a tangent. Someone might be like, "Hey, let's just build this in Fortnite," and they'll be able to do it. Like, it won't be perfect 1-to-1, but it's like
Yeah.
there. I'm sure there are people out there who are talented enough to, and you already have the John Wick skin in that game to
Yeah.
create a Sifu
Is
clone
there?
in
Oh my
Fortnite.
god.
Oh, I thought you knew. I thought that's kind of why
No,
you
no, no, no,
thought
no.
about it. Yeah, no, he was early. He was in the early season back when we played. Joe, though, he
Yeah.
was like a he was like one of the first battle passes
What's funny is though, I think
before all
at the
these kids
time, I
were
don't know if
playing.
they actually called him John Wick, like when it first came
Yeah,
out. I think it was kind of like a note, like, oh,
yeah,
this is John Wick. He
yeah.
doesn't
You're right.
say John Wick.
Actually, they
I think
technically
that was
before.
like, it was like almost like right before Fortnite really took off to where they would, of course, want John Wick's name to be in that game. You know what I mean?
Fun fact: I
Uh,
never played the build mode in Fortnite.
I
I only the
the
first
the
time
actual
the
mode.
actual like the regular
Hmm.
battle royale mode
Yeah.
when they got
Oh
the
wait.
zero build mode like last year.
Oh.
That's when I actually started Fortnite. So
Oh, you've never played yet now.
I have
See,
never played.
I mean, and this is just I don't want to get off topic here where we're gonna go, but like exactly. It used to be fun. The video gaming world has taken off and I'm happy for the video game world. Do I wish I was a little better at video games? Yes, so I could be making money off of that instead. But we've gotten to the point where like when Fortnite came out before these seasons and all this, we were on it. Literally back in November 2017. It was so fun to play. Nobody had mastered building till we got all these sweaty McGee's out here just going off. And now I don't even want to talk about the stuff I seen on Twitter from these guys like Goth and Shroud, and they all were talking about because some guy literally put the thing out. And you guys are gonna laugh at me for this, but they kind of quote, "It's kind of sad how before in the past when we lose in a shooter, you'd be like, damn, that guy is good. But we all know my famous quote, if I die in a game, is what, KD?
That guy's a cheater.
He's cheated.
He's cheating.
There's
Yeah.
the amount I didn't like, but it's so the Cronus is actually out of control. Like everybody uses that. I literally saw the video. You took the recoil and just made it straight shoots. And then there's another thing called Xing, like instead of aim, it's an X. I forget instead of the A. But I forget exactly what it does. But like this guy, it's bad. It's so many people cheat into these rank modes and all this where I get the only way they're gonna ever get found out is if you go to a LAN event and you're at some place. But all these the amount of like thievery money wise that people like whether it's tournaments from just being on the internet like there's dudes cheating everywhere. It's so bad. It's so bad.
And that actually, real quick before we switch over to another topic, that actually reminds me of Counter-Strike 2. I heard a rumor that somebody did some data mining and it might be coming to mobile. So I feel like if you think people are cheating in Counter-Strike 2 just on PC, I feel like you put it on mobile and people are gonna start cheating as well. But that's just
Can we get one of these games on console? Huh?
It's called Crossfire X. Oh wait.
It's called Get a PC or Fix Your PC. When's your birthday? Talk to the lady. Anyways.
Or listen, or just bring it to iPad. You know what I mean? I guess that's mobile, right?
Yeah, that is mobile.
My iPad runs great. I can play some CS2 on iPad.
So
you probably could.
Yeah.
And connect the controller to it.
Yeah. Or just go mouse and keyboard on it. You know, you can attach peripherals, but we're getting off topic.
Yeah, as we do sometimes.
But yeah, these past 2 weekends, okay, from time of filming, we just had the early access Diablo 4 beta and the open access Diablo 4 beta. Thoughts on the Diablo 4 beta, KD? You started off, and then I'll piggyback, and we'll get a little feedback from Lolo, who had a little time with the game.
Thoughts. So, first of all, I only played as one character. I only played as a sorcerer, so I had the easiest time as a sorcerer. I feel like one of the things that they had to have been trying to do is seeing how the gameplay is per character, per class, and using that information to tweak it, because there's no way that they, before releasing the beta, thought that those classes were some type of even. Like,
yeah,
if you look on if you look on the Reddit posts, if you look online, you're gonna see most of the same thing, which is barbarians are boring, sorcerers are OP, necromancers are OP, rogues are OP, right? So that's first. They gotta.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were thinking, but maybe they were just like, we'll put it out there and then we'll just take the feedback and go from there.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it's made. If you play Diablo Immortal, which was their mobile game, it feels similar, and I don't know if I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that.
So I was sharing that sentiment, obviously, and then I'm thinking about it. Then I start watching other guys who have way more experience with the title. For example, like Mr. Llama, who does like Diablo 2 speed runs. I was listening to his feedback on it, but it's one of those where I'm playing the beta. I was falling in love. I was loving the stuff, but at the end, it's true where there's a lot of things that I would just find as acceptable for me buying a new game and play it. But as far as continually playing and feeling fresh moments, it can get old quick. And they're in some dangers where I don't know if they're going to fix things. But just like a lot of these companies, they drop a beta, they say it's for a specific reason, or they say, just like they actually did say, they promise that this one, just like Battlefield did, is like a 2 to 3 months old from like the spot they have the game out now. They say, and they're saying this is literally, obviously they were giving us a taste, but they're saying it's like this is a stress test, which they definitely got a chance to do that. So that's another thing I don't want to see when the game comes out. You had 2 weekends where you stressed the hell out of the network. I'll tell you that for damn sure. So come launch night, we better not see stuff like New World and all the
Stop it.
hour wait or
Stop it.
any of that stuff.
You
Because
know
if
We're not
that's
damn
even gonna
well.
see
actually
it.
what they were
Yeah.
doing, I mean, yeah, we're gonna see it, but it's sad because they actually went into this like, yo, this is just for us to do this. But a lot of the gameplay was getting exposed in where there are, you know, messed up situations. Like you said, the characters are majorly unbalanced. And then there's like good points of like the scaling because then you have like the Diablo 2 and Diablo. I mean, I played a lot more Diablo 2 than I did Diablo 3, but I played them both. Where because now it is open world and you have MMO a little bit in it where, you know, people can be in the open world, not the dungeons, but you can cross paths with people. The A level 9 could be with you at level 25. And like I was doing a world, the scaling works where everyone's doing a percentage damage. But like I was playing the druid who's on the weaker side, we're saying now. And there was a necro that comes in at level 9 and I'm 25, is doing his corpse explosion and he's destroying these monsters compared to me. So it's like a kind of weird thing where like when Diablo, like you had the lower level areas, but that's where there's so much more to go into the end game, and who knows how when you start changing the difficulty. But I think they could have left areas feel easier because like I heard too, like before part of it was like getting real strong. So then maybe you went back into some areas and you would farm mad easily. But now the whole game's kind of scaling with you, and that's actually kind of like that's almost not fun. Like I like exactly. I want the hard areas to be hard. Where yo, I shouldn't be over there.
Right.
And then the beginning area, ooh, I out leveled it. Let me go back and let me just
Run
walk
through
through
it. Yeah.
mobs. Like kind of if it's a game about farming too, that it's kind of always been. And again, not to say like make it Diablo 2, but also don't take away from what makes Diablo Diablo. And someone wrote a comment on a YouTube video that kind of stuck with me. It says, when you design a game for everyone, you design a game for no one. And that's kind of the thing they were trying to go for, where exactly, just like all these new, and that's why it's so hard, man. It's like, I wish these games would just stick to catering their audience and their OG gamers. Like no, but then again, it's like yeah, company and money. That's what it comes down to, man. Money kind of messes this stuff up now, and the way the world's going. But like before, stuff felt like more genuine when gaming was growing, and now it's like gaming's here, and now gaming has a spotlight. So now we're making gaming for everyone. So those true gamers that like experiences or like their original IPs are kind of getting the short end of the stick. And then people are coming in like, yeah, someone else can pick up the game and play and whatever. But it's like they're going to put 10 hours into your game or 15, 20 hours, and they're going to forget about it. And you got these guys who are putting in thousands of hours making content on your game and selling your games to other people that like to game and try things out rather than just, you know, being able to sell the game to everyone. That's a big, I think, issue that we have today.
A couple things. Number one, that comment stole that quote from The Incredibles. Okay,
Oh.
Incredible movie. If everybody's a superhero, nobody's a superhero. That's where they got that shit from. Number one. Number two,
Ooh.
you almost when we talked in our group chat, you almost dug yourself a grave or a hole when you said we were going back and forth about like what's acceptable and like what's okay to be a grind. And I said, so you're trying to tell me if a game is like 20 to 30 hours of grinding to get to end game where you're saying that's now the fun part, that's acceptable to you? Like that's where you almost I almost got you there.
The game has to be fun until you get to the end game. It could take a while to get there.
Yeah.
But it's got to be enjoyable. And they're right. But again, this is where, as a community or the people, we have to step back. They capped us at 25, closed off a lot of like, there's a lot of game to be left to play.
Yeah.
And then you're playing that area, you're looping it. Like I had 2 characters basically over. Like I had the 125, then I got my druid to 20 before I stopped. But like, yeah, I did the same exact act, the same missions twice. Like, of course, I'm gonna get and that early. Like normally, when people play games over again, it's like you play the whole game out, you beat it, and then it's been a couple months till you went back and did the same thing over. So we're just criticizing, like good
Yeah.
criticism
And I
to
will
see,
say
but we will
before
see.
before let Logan put his 2 cents in here, I will say because we've been like really hammering on Diablo 4, and it's just the only reason why we're being so critical is because we want the game to succeed.
We
Let's
want it
just
to be
put that
good.
out there.
That's what
Like
it
we
is.
want it to be
Yeah.
good. It's not because we're just here shitting on games. But I will say I just to highlight their inventory. I like the fact that the inventory is very spacious now. Everything is one
Yeah.
slot per. It's not
Yeah.
like it's taking up huge amounts of slots. And the
Yeah.
setting of the game, I was worried because if you seen any of the teasers, it looked very bright and it didn't
Yeah.
look.
No, this game was
And
dark.
it's
I
like
like it.
now, yeah, and now you could see it's a bit darker. So I appreciate that. But
Lolo,
Logan,
let's hear about you. You played.
yeah,
I played about 2 hours with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the game is gonna have a hard time when you're. I feel like playing alone. Like I feel like if you're playing with friends, like it's cool. Like just being able, getting that feeling of being OP and just kind of running through waves. It's kind of fun and satisfying, especially when you're getting meaningful gear. And I feel like I'm not a super experienced Diablo player, but I feel like playing Diablo 3 is when I did. It's like you feel like when you're playing the game, you're getting good loot kind of throughout it, and I feel like that's a critical thing for that game. I never felt like I was going, 5, 6, 7 hours and like not getting something that I really wanted. Then again, I didn't really play the end game like crazy, so maybe you kind of get to that grindiness of it. But it's when you're playing alone, and I took some time on Sunday to play by myself, where I was just like, this is really boring. Like if I'm playing by myself and have nobody to talk to, like I'm not laughing, I'm
Hmm.
just sitting here playing. It was just super boring. As far as the difficulty, I listened to I was listening to the Unlocked podcast on IGN, and they were saying on there they got to play it before the public, and it was like OD hard. So I think that they kind of took that feedback, and then when they came out with the beta where everybody would play, they kind of went the other way and made it like
Yeah.
significantly easier. But
yeah,
apparently, like when there were like 2 tiers, like apparently on tier one, people were just dying nonstop. So I think that that probably affected kind of the experience we had because they wanted to make sure people could actually play the game and enjoy it and not constantly be dying. I don't know. I mean, I'm optimistic that it'll be a good game. I don't think they put from what I hear, Diablo 2 is great. I played Diablo 3. I thought at launch it was rough, but then it got really good. So I think they're going to put out a good game. I do think they kind of struggle with the trying to make a game for everyone uh, issue that Hank, you pointed out. I think that was a great point. And when you have these games that cost so much money to make, kind of hard to focus on just your hardcore fans. And I feel like that's something that is becoming more and more prevalent as these game budgets get bigger and bigger and bigger. But I don't know. I'm curious to see how it plays out. Like I think it's gonna sell a ton. So I think in that aspect it'll be a success. But I think you're right. Like it's gonna have to have some kind of loop that keeps people playing longer than just the first week or the first 2 weeks. And I can see it being a case where in a month a lot of the people put it down. You know what I mean?
Hmm. So to end this Diablo 4 discussion and talking about making the games for everyone, I'm gonna give you guys each one guess the game that stuck to its grit, and then because you do what you do and you make the game that you were making for your people, it got so hype. Everybody else wants to touch it anyways. What game?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge.
Negative.
Fortnite.
what game?
You're gonna.
What game? Now that everybody wants to touch it, what?
All right.
I have no idea.
5,
Halo.
4. No. Elden Ring. That style of game. Hardcore. That You know how many people don't play those kinds of games, but because when that game dropped and everyone falling in love with it, that Elden Ring game is a From Software game. They didn't change it to get all those, people to play, make it easy. That shit is hard. And still people played it that probably, I'm saying, and bought it. Then there's probably, me being one of them still, that did not beat the damn game. I'm sure people bought it just to like, oh, what's this game?
Neither one of
They
you beat it,
got
right?
everybody involved, huh?
Neither one
Nah,
of you beat
but
it,
like,
right?
see, I'm sorry,
None of us beat it,
I
Kevin.
put
You've
like
never
30
played
hours
the
into it. But like,
Elden
see,
Ring.
I actually played the game. I'm gonna go back and beat Elden Ring. But I just
I'll
wanted to give
I'll
Elden
send you
Ring a
I'll
little
send you the
shout
screenshot
out.
of my trophy. You know, the achievement. I'm sure I got an achievement for beating the
Yeah, I don't
game.
believe you. This guy, listen. So let us know in the comments if you think Kevin actually beat the game. Kevin claims he beat the game, but every time we ask him about a boss, he conveniently missed that boss
I
because
put
it
it
was
this way.
optional.
Yeah. Eh, we all know
Yeah.
they
And I've
talk
never
about
told him to his face that I thought he was lying. It's all coming out right now.
what is it? What's
That
her
is
name?
true though. That's like out of all time. Yeah.
I just saw him a couple
Melania.
days ago. I was like, "Good job, man. I believe you." And now the
If
truth comes out.
like if you ain't beat her, like you ain't even beat the game yet, KD. So I don't even know. We're not even gonna talk to you about it. So
Did
It's
you see the
funny.
credits roll?
I did see the credits roll.
Trick question that have no credits. Part two.
You are
Oh
hilarious. That's
man.
messed up. That's messed up. Y'all know I put like 30 hours into that game. But it's funny that you guys are mentioning Diablo 4. I don't know how much you want to touch on this right now, but just real quick, Diablo 4 and how they're trying to make a game that's catering to everybody and how difficult that is. It kind of goes into what we were talking about right before we started recording, which was now we're getting more remakes because basically a remake is just a game that did well, so you might as well, refresh it. That's basically what people are
Yep.
doing now. And you see it from everybody from Capcom and their Resident Evil games. You see it. Square Enix has been doing it for Final Fantasy now. The Last of Us, right, is getting a remake. So it's just now we're getting to that point
The
where
Last of Us is getting a remake. Jeez.
I know it's not even that old, whatever. But now we're getting to that point where they'd rather just freshen up an IP that they've already done than to try to make something new. And that's where we're at now.
And I think, and they like to go back to the point that was made about Diablo 4. I think that it's all about money. And when you have I feel like games cost so much money to make now, and maybe they always did relative to like inflation and things like that. But it just I was too young to really recognize it. But I feel like games cost so much money to make that companies don't want to risk losing that much money. So making when you have a remake, you kind of have a built-in audience already. And you already kind
Right.
of know these people are going to buy it. And then if it looks good enough or reviews well enough, you're going to have new people who have never played the game who want to jump in. And we're going to have that positive word of mouth already established from the original game and blah, 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 blah. And then you have a case where you get Dead Space, or you get RE4, you get Final Fantasy, and all these games, some of which are probably like, I would have to think RE4 is probably going to be in the running for Game of the Year. Even Metroid, like the Metroid that just came out. Like you have remakes that are like scoring 10 out of 10 potential game of the years, and it's like they're not new ideas. It's kind of just reimaginings. But I feel like a huge part of that is definitely the fact that they cost so much money to make that companies kind of want to have like an ace in the hole. Like we know we're going to at least sell this many copies because of its being an established brand.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just thinking remakes. Another part of it that maybe I never saw it this way is think about being a new young gamer. How about the kids that are, and we always talk about all these older games that are like, yo, like that paved our childhood, like the games that were like, yo, I couldn't put that game down. And I'm kind of like, well, they can't. They like, yeah, the kid can go back, and it's like nostalgia. Like a 10-year-old now that's getting into game, they're not gonna want nostalgia when they see them 8-bit graphics. Like so, I guess it kind of makes sense from that point for I guess the new gamers, and I guess I never looked at it that way until I just thought about it right now. But like,
My,
if
my
the
only
game is so great, they got to remake it and now give it its new skin and look nice for these the new generation of gamers. We got right, gaming's got to stay alive. It ain't just our generation.
My only problem with that is they're not remaking 8-bit games though. Like
no, I know.
if you
no,
if
no,
you put
I know.
like,
I said a big rap, but I'm saying think of any game. All right, for example, like The Last of Us, like that. We've talked about this. There's some games that they're remaking is like, bro, that don't even have a 5-year shelf life. Like it's
right.
crazy. The games that I'm saying though, maybe 15, 20 years old. Like I'm talking about kids weren't even born. Like and now they're 10. Like yeah. Like that's what it's acceptable to make those games, remake those games, and obviously the graphics. But I'm saying that if there's these 10-year-old kids are literally used to, let's say, a new gen console, like they're not gonna want no 360 graphics or PS3, PS2 graphics.
It's spoiled.
So
That's what it
It's
is.
almost like
yeah,
you want them to experience what we got to experience. Is what you're saying.
yeah. So I mean, from that point of view, but we also know that might not be the only. But that hopefully that is a point of view they have because I can accept that more than them just being money hoarders and just remaking it because one, they're running out of ideas and they're being lazy. Like if that was a reason, not that I've ever seen a company come out and say it, I can accept that. I could be like, okay, makes sense. You know?
I don't know. These remakes
Oh,
drive me crazy though. That's
I
all I gotta
mean,
say. That's all
all
I
I
gotta say.
can say though too about these remakes, I'm trying to think if I've played one yet. Can you? I don't know. You guys know what I've been playing lately. Have I played a remake? What got remade that I haven't played? I don't think I've played one of these remakes.
I'm about done with the Dead Space remake, and I'm probably gonna get the RE4 remake soon. I'm part of the problem. I'm
Yeah,
supporting it.
see, you playing it.
Listen, they're good games. I want to play them again.
You know
That's fair
what? You
enough.
guys in the comments, you guys let us know what you think about these remakes and how you feel about the continuing process of games that are 5 years old, which is not old, to 10 years old, are being remade and reskinned when these big AAA companies could be brainstorming and coming up with new ideas.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I feel like that's a good spot to leave it for the first
Yeah,
episode. How you guys feel?
I
I
feel good
feel good
about it, man.
about it.
Yeah.
We
I feel
talked
like
we
that's a good
talked a
spot to leave
lot.
it at.
I think we talked about a lot of good things. I think the folks need to watch. I think the folks need to give us some feedback. I think the folks need to, battle with us. We can go at it in the comments. We could talk about it in the next video. If you think we were wrong, let us know. Most
If you think
likely we weren't
Croaky,
wrong, but it is what it is.
And as long as that comment right there didn't turn you guys off, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well.
exactly. Yes.
We just talking. I'm out here getting crunky with it. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody knows that. That's old. That needs to be
Hey,
remade.
I'm getting
Hey,
crunky with it
remake.
though.
You got to remake Crunky.
We got to remake
Now
Crunky.
you're part of the
Hey,
problem too.
remember? Yeah, I had Crunky 2.0.
That's right.
Dude, you know what though? Like I'm okay with if they called it CS:GO 2.0, but don't call it CS:GO 2. Like it should have been Overwatch 2. Like because the point .0 makes it be like, yo, it's a updated version feeling. When you
Yeah.
just call it 2, it's like this ain't no damn sequel. But you know
Right,
what?
right.
We're gonna hope to give you guys a sequel in the next episode.
To this episode.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like the way you
Ooh,
just ended that
yeah,
right there. So we're gonna
yeah.
leave it there, and we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, even just an emoji. Drop something just to boost that engagement, help boost us through that algorithm as we get started on this journey. And we will see you guys on the next episode. We're gonna be dropping these about once a week, right? We said about once a week.
Yeah.
Yes,
Gonna drop it
sir.
So
once a week. Yep.
yeah, so keep it locked here on GamerVice, and we will see y'all on the next one. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.